doing here? Well, in this episode, we're going to answer the question, how does poor sleep make you fat? Stay tuned. What's up guys, Jay Stewart here, the Better Body Coach, and I help everyday busy men get back in shape. And today we're going to be answering the question, how does poor sleep make you fat? I got asked this question in my group the other day, and so I thought I'd record a video to give you guys all the answers. Now, when you consider that over half the Western world registers now as being either overweight or obese, this is causing catastrophic harm to our bodies and to a higher incidence of disease. So we've got to ask, what is at the root cause of this? Well, certainly we know that diet and nutrition and of course lack of exercise are contributing, but is there some more sinister stuff at work? And I can certainly tell you that there is. And one of the big factors is to do with the fact that 30% of adults are sleeping less than 6 hours a night. Poor sleep contributes to overweight and obesity, and in this session we're going to get to the bottom of why that happens and then provide some recommendations on how you can improve your sleep. So let's get stuck in. Now first guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe, smack that big red button below and it'll help me to grow this channel and keep you notified of when new videos are coming out daily. So without further ado, let's tuck into it. The 5 major ways in which poor sleep causes you to become fat. The first one of these is the hormonal mechanism. And I'm going to keep this real simple. There's 2 hormones that are at play here. One is called ghrelin, one is called leptin. Now, when you are hungry, ghrelin, the hormone ghrelin, increases, and what it's trying to do is signal to you to eat. Now, the way I remember these hormones is by thinking when I'm hungry, I'm like, grrr, I get like angry. And so that sounds like ghrelin, right? Ghrelin, grrr. So when you are hungry, you're gonna have high ghrelin levels. When you are full, what actually happens is your fat cells release another hormone which works, I guess, they work in tandem, but the opposite effect, which is called leptin. Leptin signals that you are full. So what should really be happening if you are in balance is that as you get hungrier or as you are well slept, your ghrelin and leptin levels will be functioning normally. So your ghrelin will be sitting there saying, okay, feed me now, I'm hungry. And once you have basically been satiated, the leptin will kick in and basically say you're full. What happens is when you're poorly slept, we get mixed up. And so what'll happen is that your ghrelin levels will be supercharged despite the fact that you're not necessarily hungry. And your leptin will be really dampened down, which will basically give your body the impression that you are not yet full. So the opposite effects are effectively happening. Try controlling this, it's impossible. Now, the second thing that will happen is that as we know, when we're tired, and you've seen all the ads going around on, tired driving, it's the same thing. Being tired really messes up our brain's functioning, and what this does is impairs our ability to actually make decisions. So for anyone that's a shift worker, you'll know exactly what I'm meaning. You are tired and your ability to make the right decision around food is impaired. So the third one is mindless eating. And think about when you're, when you're playing computer games or doing whatever, watching mindless TV, watching Netflix, having a binge, and depriving yourself of sleep when you would perhaps otherwise be in bed. What do you tend to do at the same time? You mindlessly snack, right? Because you're not sitting there in a conscious state thinking, you know what, I'm hungry. You tend to just snack on foods at the same time. Kind of in the same way as what goes hand in hand with going to the pub is eating takeaway bad food from the pub hotel, canteen. So the fourth one on the list is fatigue. Obviously, when you are tired, when you are underslept, you're going to feel drained. How likely are you to want to get up and go out and run around with the kids or go for a jog or head to the gym when you've got no energy? So you're fatigued, so there's no exercise. So what we see in people who are constantly underslept is that their activity levels are just really, really low. The last one is that science has shown a possible link between, and it's not locked in stone, but a possible link between feeling underslept or being underslept and having a reduced metabolism. RMR stands for your resting metabolic rate. That's the amount of calories that you burn when you're just effectively sitting there, just to keep you alive. So what this science is perhaps suggesting is that when you are underslept, your RMR is going down. So all these 5 things together, package them up, and we've got this cluster that really doesn't look good for us. It means that our cravings are going up because our hormones are all over the place and we're losing all track of our decision-making ability. So what ends up happening is we're eating larger amounts of food. So basically the body is saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. The portion sizes, because you're eating when you're tired, are larger. And then lastly, think about the types of foods that you're going to consume when you're chronically tired. They're going to be foods that are higher in calories, because your body is essentially saying, you need to feed me, I am tired, you need to give me some energy. So those foods are going to be high fat, high sugar, or caffeine related foods. Next, we're going to get on to what you can actually do to improve your sleep levels. Righto guys, so now that you understand the link between how poor sleep contributes to fat gain, what we're going to do next is get to the solutions on how we can actually hack our sleep and improve our sleep. Now, I know for a lot of you, you won't be able to nail every one of these 10, but certainly look at this list that I've put together as basically a sleep audit checklist. Rank yourself from 1 to 10, and on the scores that are low, these might give you some indication on where you can really improve. And you know, we're spending up to 1/3 of our entire lives in the sleep environment, so we want to be really paying attention to it. So let's look at the list. Number 1, sunlight. You need to get more sunlight. And you might ask, well, how is that actually important? Sleep is heavily regulated by the day-night cycle. This cycle is tied into what we call our circadian rhythms, or our body clock. This is the natural ebb and flow of the sleep-wake cycle. You have parts of your day which are highly stimulatory, and other parts of your day where you have circadian low points. Now, by making sure that you get sufficient sunlight during the day, particularly if you work in an office, you're helping to produce the hormone melatonin. And what this does is basically helps with the sleep-wake cycle, keeps you in rhythm, if you will. So for those of you, like I said, that are working inside of an office, for example, when you have your 30-minute lunch break or your 1-hour lunch break, try to go outside, sit outside, soak up some sunlight. And I'm not sitting there saying you need to take all your clothes off, just get outside and get amongst. Next one, blue light. Blue light works basically the opposite of sunlight. So when you think about it this way, when you're meant to be sleeping at night time, what's happening is you're getting this blue light shining into your eyes from your smartphones or your laptops or your iPads. And what this is doing is signaling to your body and your circadian rhythms that you should still be awake. So you were effectively fighting against nature to try to go to sleep straight after you've worked, because you'll be pumping these hormones that are saying, you know, wake up, stimulating your retina saying wake up, when at the same time you're actually trying to wind down. So avoiding blue light in the hour or 2 before sleep is a really important step. And I know this is really difficult to apply this one because we're all addicted to our phones, but certainly it will go a long ways to helping you relax when you tie it into these other 10. Consistency, this is a big one, and this is why shift workers really struggle. They can't get any consistency. What we do know is that when you follow the same system over and over again, you can generally, even if you are on shift work, adapt. The body is very adaptable. You may not get the same length of sleep that you could, but it is indeed possible. However, if, for example, you're going to sleep one day at 7:30 in the night, and then the next day you're going to sleep at midnight, you're really going to struggle to get in a rhythm. Guys, this word rhythm keeps sort of flinging in, and it makes me think that I need to push this idea of get into a rhythm with everything that you're trying to do. Going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time will effectively condition and train your body into what you're trying to get it to do. 4th on the list is caffeine and fluids. I am a coffee addict. I love coffee. But what I do know is that for a lot of us that are hypersensitive to coffee, if we're having it just before bed, or if we're having a lot of fluids, we're going to be not only stimulated by the caffeine, but we're going to be needing to get up multiple times during the night to go to the toilet. This one's bad for me. I don't drink coffee before bed, but I'll usually have 1 or 2 cups of tea, and then I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning where my sleep cycle gets interrupted because I need to go to the toilet. So just be mindful of downing your fluid intake before you go to bed. Alcohol. Okay, I know a lot of you would make the argument that no, alcohol and having a few beers at night sends me to sleep. Well, think back to the previous point. If you've got fluid in your gut, that's going to make you want to get up and go to the toilet. But just as importantly, alcohol has this kind of weird bifold effect where what it does is it essentially sends you to sleep quicker, but in the back half of your sleep really interrupts your sleep-wake cycles and stops you from getting into the nice deep restorative sleep. And so that's why you might pass out and sleep for 10 hours, but when you wake up, you feel horrible. Alcohol stops you from getting into that good zone. 6, as I said at the start, we're spending around 1/3 of our entire lifetime in our bed. And I know this one firsthand. I've just recently moved to Canada and I've gone from having this beautiful king size bed with an awesome mattress, great linen pillows. It's just been beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And into the environment that I'm coming into, I've gone back temporarily to a double bed with cotton sheets where I feel restless and hot and it doesn't feel good. It hasn't got the mattress. There's not enough size there for me and my girl. And so what I'd certainly recommend that I'm going to be doing is going up and upgrading my bed. The way I view it is it's a really important investment given I'm going to spend so much time there of my next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Exercise. Okay, so this is a big one. You know that on this channel we're big advocates of exercise and all the well-being benefits that it has done, but no doubt you would know that exercise does a number of things that stimulates your body. So it puts your body under stress, you release adrenaline, you release cortisol, and in addition to that, your heart rate goes up. It puts your body into a stimulated fashion. So whilst I do recommend exercise, I wouldn't recommend doing it in the hour or 2 before you sleep if you're someone that struggles with basically getting into quality sleep. Next one is your bed environment, your bedroom environment. So this is having a little bit of an idea and an audit of the light, the sound, the temperature that's happening in your room. And again, I know this the other day because I was sitting there and there's a bunch of light coming in and it's part of our routine to leave the light on outside. But then when I realized that this light's penetrating my window and stopping me from going to sleep, it's crazy. So what we've got now is something we bought on Amazon, a little light that just basically dims slowly and slowly and slowly, goes off to sleep over a half an hour period. I find that super soothing. And in addition to that, we're trying to make sure that the temperature of your room's at the right temperature. So you're looking at about 20 degrees for ultimate comfort. So you shouldn't be waking up sweating and you might feel warm, but it's stopping you from getting into that nice level of quality sleep. So pay attention to your actual sleep environment. Number 9 is one of my favorites, and that is to try to relax before you go to bed. So whether it's when you're in bed or the activities that you're doing before bed, set yourself up for a good sleep. For me, that involves reading a book. I'm a massive fan of ebooks, and the way I do it is to get a Kindle, the Paperwhite that doesn't have the reflective screen with a blue light screaming in. So it's just like reading a book. So I like to wind down reading a book with at the same time having some music going in the background, which is just really, really soft, slow, peaceful. I guess you could call it meditation music, and I really find this winds me down quite quickly. Second part is this is a whole nother video, but to go into meditation, if you're someone that has experienced the benefits of meditation, well, certainly doing it at both the start and the end of the day, even if only for 5 minutes, will help you go into that zone. I want to finish off number 10 with one of my favorites, guys, which is so simple. I've bought a high quality lavender oil, and what I basically do is sprinkle a bit in my hand just before I go to bed. I wipe it like this, and basically what it does is goes into my nostrils, and it is so relaxing. I find that, you know, with a couple of these things like reading a book and putting on music, it really sends me to sleep, no problems at all. So there you have it, guys. We've answered the question, how does poor sleep make you fat? And we've also provided a bunch of solutions of which you could do a sleep audit 1 to 10 on what things you're doing well and what things you can improve upon to really hack your sleep a little bit better. Look, guys, we're spending a good proportion of our lives here. We want to feel recharged. We want to feel like we can get up and go and function optimally. So don't neglect your sleep. Now, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, please give it a like. And also, if you've got any additional comments, I'd love you to put them down there in the comments, so you could maybe give me some advice, share with our community, tell others what's working for you that's not necessarily on this list. So without chatting on any further, guys, thanks so much for the support, and we will chat to you in the next video.